and welcome. My name is Anuska Taylor. Welcome to this week's video. And this week's video is for all the lovely ladies watching specifically, but of course, if you are a man, you are very welcome to watch this as well. But I am going to be talking about reclaiming our feminine power and looking at the link between the voice and the vagina. And I read something a few days ago, which I didn't know. And I thought, wow, this is truly fascinating. So there I've been doing a bit of research, doing a bit more reading, and I thought I'd like to share this because if I'm not aware of some of this, then I'm sure there's many women out there that also aren't aware of this. So there is an inextricable link between the voice and the vagina, and when we are disconnected to one, we shut down the other. Now, as my work as a voice coach, then from my perspective, helping women with their voice, when we can really step into our true, authentic, powerful voice, which is our birthright, which is available to us all, then it's going to have a profound impact on our sex life, our ability to actually enjoy sex, our ability to communicate ourselves more confidently, powerfully, and authoritatively, not only in intimate relationships, but also with family, with friends, at work, in every area of our life. Our voice has such a profound impact on everything. So the other thing I found really fascinating about this is when we think about the creative process of using our voice, whether we are public speaking or whether we are singing, and we compare that to having an orgasm, having a child, there is a powerful link between all three because they're all powered by rapid and rhythmic muscular pulses. So there is this incredible connection between all three. First of all, I just want to talk briefly about some of the sort of biological connections between the voice and the vagina before we look more at this sort of the energetic and sort of emotional side of this. So first of all, in the female embryo, the vocal folds or the vocal cords and the ovaries are one organ. And it's only later that they actually separate into two separate organs. So that already is absolutely fascinating. So from the very, very start of life, they are connected. Second of all, and I've done videos on this topic before, and I will put the links below, but we know that the vocal folds or the vocal cords have a menstrual cycle like the cervix, which I remember when I first heard this, I was blown away. I had no idea, but actually on reflection, it made sense. So whatever's going on in the cervix is going to impact what's going on in the voice, which has a profound impact for women going through a menstrual cycle, going through perimenopause or menopause. And just very simply, and as I said, I have done videos on these topics individually, but very simply, often whatever you are experiencing, let's say with your menstrual cycle, if you're a woman that experiences PMT, and let's say you get bloating or water retention as part of your PMT symptoms, you will probably then find that that is mirrored in your voice, that your voice will probably feel a little bit heavy. You may not have the range that you normally have because there's probably going to be some swelling in the vocal folds. So it tends to be mirrored. Whatever's going on in the cervix is kind of mirrored in the voice. So that's just very simply. And obviously we all experience our periods and menopause and everything differently. There are obviously commonalities, but that's why it's such an individual thing for women. And that's why I've done separate videos on that. So number three, the vagina and the throat actually look quite similar anatomically. Now, obviously, knowing that there is this connection at the start of life in the embryo, it makes a lot of sense. But these connections are there throughout life. We also know, and I think I've done a video on this before, there is a strong correlation between the pelvis and the jaw. So when the pelvis is tight, the jaw is tight. Obviously, the jaw is critical for speech, for getting the voice out and being heard. And if one area is restricted in energy, it's going to affect the other. And finally, the vagus nerve, which I've definitely done a video on before, because this has a profound impact on the voice, runs from the brainstem to the abdominal area, but it actually connects the voice or the larynx to the cervix, and they actually even think to the vagina, but at the very least to the cervix. So we've got this link through this nerve from the larynx to the cervix here as well. And branches of the vagus nerve control all muscles of voice production. So it has a profound impact on the voice. And actually, you can't voice without the vagus nerve, so it's absolutely critical. And then we know that to actually stimulate the vagus nerve and create a sense of calm and reduce anxiety, not only deep breathing can really, really help to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, but also singing and chanting and vocalizing in some very simple, with some simple humming, can really help to actually kind of switch on that parasympathetic nervous system. So we're seeing all of these links from a sort of biological perspective between the voice, the vagina, the cervix, the pelvis, all of that kind of area as a woman, our sort of sexual organ area. There is this profound connection. But let's look now at the sort of more emotional or the energetic link, because that's the sort of biological, physical links. But of course, there's this sort of emotional side to this too. Of course, there always is. And whether we are sexually expressing ourselves or vocally expressing ourselves, there are some commonalities. And so I just want to talk about 4 of these now. So first of all, we need to feel safe and relaxed in order to express ourselves powerfully, effortlessly, confidently. There's got to be an element of calm. And I know firsthand when performance anxiety and nerves take over, the voice will clench, the voice will tighten, often the jaw will tighten, people's heart rate builds. So it can have a profound impact on the ability to actually get the voice out. Similarly, sexually, for women particularly, I think, and I can't speak for every woman, but as a general rule, I think women need to feel safe and relaxed to actually really find sexual pleasure and to enjoy having sex. So there is that first link there. Secondly, the need to be warmed up, so to speak. So again, from a vocal perspective, I bang on about this all the time. We need to be warming our voice up. It's not just for singers, it's for anyone that is using their voice in any shape or form, particularly in a professional setting, in a public speaking setting. But also if you think sort of sexually, most women, again, I think need to feel sort of ready and warmed up. They can't just sort of dive straight into it. So there is this kind of connection between the two as well. We need to feel safe, we need to feel relaxed, and we need to feel ready and warmed up for the whole process. Number 3 is obviously important to me as well with the work that I do, is a connection to self. So it's not all externalized. It's really about building a relationship with our own voice so that then when we do speak in public, feel confident and ready and powerful to express ourselves. There's a lot of work we have to do behind the scenes on our own to get our voice ready and prepared. Similarly, sexually, a lot of that is about us as women in private, learning about our own bodies and what we need before we then meet a partner. So there's a lot of similarities here between connection to self, connection to our own voice, connection to our own body before we bring in other people to listen to us speak or to be in a relationship with. And then finally, and definitely not least, is to feel heard, kind of linked to we need to feel safe. But to feel heard, again, when we are speaking, we want people to listen to us. We want people to be engaged in what we're saying. It's very hard to open ourselves up and share ourselves with people, sexually or vocally, when we feel people aren't listening, they're not hearing, they're disconnected to us. So the links are so much more profound than just the physical, but the emotional and the energetic links are huge. So I say this to clients all the time because when you work on your voice, it's such a profound process. It is so much more than just learning to speak confidently to get a promotion or to win some business or to get through a presentation. You actually change in the process. It's actually a very profound process emotionally, as well as the sort of physical side of voice training. And our voice is really an expression of our inner world. It's a real connection to our heart and our soul that we share with the world. And as a byproduct of that, that means when we work on our voice and we free it and we open it and we allow ourselves to really be heard, it changes our whole world. It changes how we show up. It changes how we interact with people at work. It changes how we interact with friends and family. And as we're talking about today, in intimate relationships and our sex life, it's all connected. Our voice is central to everything that we do in our world. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. It's a little bit different to my normal video, but I hope you found this truly fascinating. If you enjoyed it, please do like, share, subscribe. I'd love to know your comments as well. A little bit of a left field topic from my normal topics, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Please keep subscribing if you haven't, and I will see you on my next week's video.